Hey, good morning, everybody. This is going to be a fast review for people who did not get to take the first quiz in Aerospace 1. In that section, we went over a lot of history where we talked about the Wright brothers and the founders of modern aviation. So we're going to go through a couple of people to give you something to study. So the first person we're going to talk about is the person who launched the Aerodrone on the Potomac River. What he launched was an aerodrome called Aerodrome 6, and it was a steam-powered vessel, and he launched it off of a houseboat, and his name was Samuel Langley. And he launched the Aerodrome, and it is now the site where the CIA headquarters sits on, called Langley, Virginia. You're going to have to bear with me as I am looking at a screen. We talked about the person who was a multitude of things. He was an artist, and he was a politician, and he was a man of science. This individual conducted the first experiments in the field of aviation. His name was Leonardo da Vinci, and he did it all the way back in the 1500s before anybody. The two people who we talked about in class who are famous for using balloons, the first set was a set of brothers called the Montefiore brothers, and they used a balloon to conduct the first manned balloon ride over Paris. They were also known for discovering the theory of lift in a fireplace by watching ashes rise through heat. The first use of balloons by any military, it was the United States military originally. They used balloons originally in the American Civil War, and they used it to use it for reconnaissance. As balloons advanced, we had something called a rigid dirigible, and that is something that was just like a hot air balloon, except it was steerable, because a hot air balloon is not steerable. The famous inventor that we spoke about, I hope you recall, his name was Ferdinand von Zeppelin. Moving on. Once again, I want to emphasize that we want to talk about the person who inspired the Wright brothers. He ended up getting the title of the father of modern aviation. His name was Otto Lilienthal, and he was famous for creating the principles of aerodynamics and a glider, which led to his untimely demise on a hillside. So after Otto Lilienthal passed, we ended up getting these two famous brothers from Ohio called the Wright brothers. We're going to talk about a few things that they did. They created wing warping from using a box which just turned the wings, so that is how they made an aircraft that was steerable. They wanted to develop an aircraft that flew before installing an engine, so they took it out to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, and used the winds there on the beach to use it as a glider. On their first attempt by having a pilot, Wilbur, the flyer became airborne, but it was not stable, so it crashed into the sand. Their famous flight occurred at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina on December 17th, 1903, and they flew approximately 825 feet, so please try to remember that. Alright, I hope this helps you guys out. Good luck.